Welcome. This is the To Know Money Weekly News Wrap-Up. To begin, Morgan Stanley says $100 SpaceX implies zero value for the AI business. They value the company at $300 a share. Wildfires in Europe and the typhoon in China caused disruptions, with the Tour de France having to be cut short. Meanwhile, activity in China was paused. From schools to businesses, there was nothing going on. Paramount and Warner Brothers paused their deal till June 2027. Paramount is paying Warner Brothers daily for every day that the deal hasn't happened. Nvidia and SK Group inked deal to set up a 2 gigawatt data center in South Korea. Intel beats the earnings estimates, indicating strong demand for compute hardware is still going strong. Google also raised their capex. AI companies and hyperscalers are seeing high yield premiums in the debt markets. AMD invests $5 billion in Anthropic. AMD's CEO Lisa Su says demand isn't slowing at all. She also touts the new Helios system, which is 30 times more capable than the previous system. Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Amazon are expected to release earnings between the 29th and the 30th. After about 13 days of strikes, a lot of elaborate threats back and forth, Iran and the US seem to have cooled down hostilities, with the US pausing strikes. Some speculate that it could be because the US is running low on defensive ammunition, like the Patriot missiles. Some regional players are said to have gotten in on the conflict against Iran. A ship was struck by a mine in Hormuz. Meanwhile, the Houthis struck Saudi energy facilities in the south of the nation. The US president and his aides have reportedly been targeted for assassinations by Iran, and they've been advised to exercise extra caution. For example, they were told not to avoid Ubers and be extra careful by US intelligence. At the same time, these aides are starting to voice concerns that further strikes would only deteriorate the peace process as opposed to force Iran to the table. Multiple projects to build pipelines that bypass the Hormuz Straits are underway. Ukraine strikes an Iranian-linked vessel in the Caspian Sea. Iran summons Ukrainian diplomats regarding the situation. There are reports of an 80% increase in flights from the US to the Middle East, hinting at the possibility for further escalation, or America has just given itself extra options. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is poised to visit Washington on Tuesday. On to yields. UK's new Prime Minister Burnham voices the need for the UK to show stability, with UK 10-year yields reaching and surpassing 5.1%. ECB, the European Central Bank, keeps rates steady due to lack of stability in markets. ECB President Christine Lagarde expresses a vigilant and ready stance to react to the outlook and data, voicing concerns for the downward pressure energy shocks and geopolitical situations can put on market, and at the same time voicing optimism from the growth in the tech sector. She guides to a possible hike in rates in September. US jobless rates coming lower than expected. Meanwhile, tariffs are back. US President Donald Trump levies tariffs on about 60 nations, citing slave labor as the rationale behind these tariffs. These tariffs are being levied under the 301 Act. However, legal challenges have already arrived. 2-year bond yields rise, hinting at the possibility of a rate hike soon. US Fed rate decisions expected on the 29th, with the Fed largely expected to do nothing. That's hold rates steady. Thanks for tuning in. It's the news wrap up on the To Know Money channel. Have a lovely one.